Hey yo, what's good? What's poppin'? What's happening with you all? It's your boy Gold Phoenix in the flesh. Rise from the ashes and be blessed. Listen up. This is my iPhone 12 Pro Max, right? You know how I said I cracked it, but it wasn't nothing crazy? It was just cracked right here on this little corner right here, and then a small chip in that corner right there. Nonetheless, I bought another phone. It's whatever, this one's like a year old anyway. I got the 13 Pro Max, of course, Phoenix Gold, love it, 512 gigs. That's beside the point. I wanted to talk about the conflict of interest between the carrier and the driver. Now, you guys saw the last video, and you know, I guess I could say I was going through it. I was not happy at all. Ended up taking a week off. I went to my mother's house and, you know, hung out with my friends, family, that type of deal. Just had a good time. Spent an absurd amount of money. Drank way too much alcohol. But, whatever. My truck was in the shop. Now, let me tell you guys how this played out, right? I'm driving my truck. Check engine light was on. You guys already know that, right? I ended up taking it to Love's and having it scanned. So they scan it. They give me a printout with all of the faults that it had. The truck just had a list of issues. I would have never guessed, but had a list of problems. And they told me I needed to go to the dealership. So I was like, shoot, man. I mean, I could drive it. Whatever, we'll see what happens, right? So I hopped back on Interstate 22. At this time, I was going to, Greenville, South Carolina. And as I'm driving, I'm noticing like a loss in power. Nothing seemed too out of the ordinary, aside from the light. But I noticed the truck was not pulling the way it usually would. Like, it felt weaker. It felt like it was struggling a little bit, right? So in my mind, I'm thinking, I think the truck is gonna derate at some point. I didn't know if it was gonna be sooner or later, but I felt it coming, or at least I thought that's what was happening, right? So I tell my fleet manager, I say, yo, listen, bro, after this load, I'm gonna need to go to the dealership, get this looked at. You know, I wanna go ahead and nip this in the bud before it becomes a bigger issue for me. What does he do? Gives me an attitude, talking about some, all right, we'll see what we can do about it. But what do you mean, see what you can do about it? I already told you what I'm gonna do. So of course we talk on the phone, going back and forth, whatever. So I make a proposition to him. I say, listen, bro, I'll tell you what, you can give me a load going into the Atlanta area. I'll gamble on that. But after that, I'm going to the dealer, and that's final. Because what my carrier wanted me to do, or my fleet manager, and even Rotus's, what they wanted me to do is keep running it. They told me, I told them the fault codes and all this other stuff. They tried to say, well, it's nothing to worry about. Just let us know if you have any drivability issues, which is where the conflict of interest comes into play, right? They wanted me to keep running. In my mind, I decided it wasn't worth gambling with. So I'll scratch your back a little bit, but you're gonna scratch mine. End up taking the truck to the shop anyway. Now, this is where it gets funny, right? So I deliver the load in Jackson, Georgia. Dealership is in Smyrna. So I leave a trailer, or I drop the trailer at, you know, another customer. I didn't deliver to that customer, but, you know, just drop a trailer off, be nice, whatever, clean it out, all that good stuff. I'm bobtailing. Bobtail again, you know, hop on 285. I'm noticing, even just on slight rolling hills, it really is losing power. Like, I'm losing speed. Bobtail, these hills ain't even that steep, right? Pull off on exit 19. on 285 over there by Cumberland Mall, if you're not familiar with it. As I'm pulling off the exit, what do I see? D-rate. Now, it derated to 55 miles an hour. The speed limit where I was driving at off the interstate was about 45, 35-ish, you know, in some parts. So I could work with it. But the fact of the matter is, I called it. I called it. See, what I want you guys to understand is you always trust your gut. I said it before and I said it again, man. Anytime there's an issue with your truck, I don't care how minute it is, you might as well just, you know, get it looked at, nip it in the bud before it becomes a bigger issue. Because when you sit on small issues, it compounds into a much larger problem, right? So I get to the dealer. I tell them what's going on while I'm there. They tell me it's going to be at least a week. Whatever. So I hit up Uber. I Uber to the airport. I rent me a car. Drive to my mom's house. She went home when I got there, but I didn't even tell her I was there. She just walked in the house and I was there. And she was like, what the heck? What? Scared her a little bit, but that's neither here nor there. See, when you work with a lot of these carriers, especially mega carriers, because I know there's some people out there that are gonna say, oh, I'm with a smaller company and we're like family over here, or I have my own authority and I make my own choices, yada yada. Who cares? When you are working with a lot of these carriers, you have to understand they view you as a tool, and because of that, you have to treat them the same way. I'm not saying talk to them any kind of way you want to, or don't do what I do, because I can get a little reckless. But understand their place. They certainly have a place for you. You need to understand what their place is with you. If they don't serve you, don't deal with them. Work with them to the extent that they serve you, because the second you don't serve them, they'll cut you like that. See, this is why my carrier wanted me to run with my truck, knowing there was an issue, right? Because if I keep running, right, I pick up a load, and we say, yeah, you know, a cool 100 miles down the road or something like that. The load is advancing. Truck breakdown on the side of the road, though, right? Now, if that happens, what am I going to have to do? Call a tow truck. I'm going to have to get towed to a dealership. Probably had to go back to where I had just came from. Maybe. Who knows? And then they had one of their company drivers or whatever slide by and pick the load up. They get paid. I take the hit. Whereas if I see the problem and I decide I'm going to solve this before it becomes a bigger issue, they take the hit. Of course, I took the hit as far as, you know, like my truck payment. I'm in the hole right now, a couple $100. Like, I think I'm in a hole like $400. Who cares? But nonetheless, that $400 could have been $2,000. It could have been $2,500 in the negative, just based on one bad call. And I'm not about to play them games. I ain't playing them games with you. Whatever. As far as I'm concerned, I pay for this, right? And since I pay for it, I'm going to take care of it. But I'm going to do it the way that I see fit. I do things my way. I'll follow your rules. I'll be safe. I do all that extra stuff that I'm supposed to. Be on time, whatever. But as far as how I get to where I get to and how this equipment is maintained, I'm going to do it my way. And what that interaction with these fools taught me is to stand by that. Always handle it my way. Because in every turn, at every instance, no matter what it is going on, whether it's a good pan load, a bad pan load, truck breakdown, truck needs maintenance, blow a tire, who cares? There is always a conflict of interest. And the only interests that matter to me are my own. It's just something to think about. Now, today is the first day back on the road. Like I said, I was off for a week, so I'm in North Carolina now. Got this load going to Greensboro. I wouldn't be surprised if I end up dead in the Siler City from here, but I guess we'll see what happens. Oh, yeah, and another thing, the load I took to Jackson, Georgia, they ain't paid me for that. Conveniently, you know, I just had to rescan in all the paperwork, so yeah, they didn't pay me for that. They'll pay me for that this week, but it's always something. But anyway, that's it for that. I'm gonna keep it rolling. Hopefully, if my truck is gonna have any more issues, it comes before winter gets serious, because I'd rather knock it out now than, you know, be off in the cold somewhere, or Lord knows what could happen. Anyway, as I always tell you guys, be happy, stay blessed, and do not be afraid to make drastic changes in your life